You either match the split push of Flandre, or they're just going to absolutely smash you.
Yeah. Well, I want to see a change up in any rate in some way this game, but King going to stick to their game style as far as the bans are concerned. Trundle and Nunu are going to be taken off the board. Sejuani and Urgot removed here from Snake, of course, taking a different side of the draft this time around. And we'll see whether they value this Gragas pick because, of course, Beast was able to affect these later game teamfights so beautifully, and knocking Whoosh against the wall with that explosive cast is like the longest uncleansable stun that you can use in the game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good work coming through from there. I do think it was Na being able to get the initial engage in there that really set the team fights up. So I wouldn't be expecting to see that one taken away, but more expecting them to play around it differently. And straight away, they ban Lulu. I like this. Assassin didn't look great on it. It does shut down the Cogmore compositions better than anything else. So get that one off the board. Probably won't see it for the rest of the series.
Yep.
Instead, let's go play something comfortable. We're looking at Hecarim. We're looking at Aurelia. There are picks available here for him to really take it to Flandre.
Yeah, and we'll see whether there's going to be any power picks because, of course, Callista was left up this time. Snake uncharacteristically banned that away on the blue side the last game, and we'll see whether Callista is going to be sort of one of those champions they want to take into this one. But in 5.6, it's a little bit more difficult to take her because, of course, doesn't bust down the tanks if she goes for that Hurricane build. Yeah,
certainly is the case. Instead, they're looking at a Rek'Sai. I like it a little bit more gank heavy.
Yep.
Try and pressure the lanes. Get ahead early.
And this is exactly what MLXG is able to do on Rek'Sai. He's able to get sort of Karthus lanes versus Ahri ahead early by having fantastic ganks in the early game. So we'll see whether he can do it again this game. But Flandre back onto his most played champion in the Maokai, and Crystal back on the Callista as well. 92% win rate, something ridiculous like that on that champion. And able to pick that one up, and I'm frightened here for King, but Assassin looks fantastic when he's playing this Karthus. He'll lock that one in again, and getting Assassin onto someone he's comfortable on, that is brilliant. That's a fantastic start here for King.
Yeah, already a better draft coming through from King. It's a lot more objective focus. Rek'Sai is able to get around and impact lanes where Nidalee wasn't able to really go in last game. So I can see exactly where they're going for. The problem, Snake are also piecing together a very good teamfight comp. Now they've got some pick coming through from Gragas with the Thresh, and once again, they're really brawl heavy.
Yeah, and Snake have got, again, a team comp full of comfort picks. Ella on the Thresh once more was fantastic. Managed to thread the needle on so many of those death sentences, and Beast has looked more comfortable on this Gragas than a lot of his comfort picks earlier on in the season. And Beast was one of these players that sort of locked down onto 2 or 3 picks and played the heck out of them.
Yeah, he certainly did. He was all about the Jarvan as well as the Nunu earlier on in the season. Now it looks like he swapped that one over to Gragas. As we see, Sky, he's taking a Scion into the top lane, and Whoosh, he's going to stick around with this Vayne.
Yeah, the Vayne again, and it might be that they like the Vayne Nautilus lane. Does Nautilus bring anything extra to that laning matchup?
Yeah, no, not really coming through there from Nautilus. He does have very good peel late game, so gives Vayne that option to be able to go with. But we'll have to see exactly how it works out there because they scale, once again, ridiculously well into the late game, King. I just don't know if late game is where you want to take games against Snake.
Well, that's the thing, and Snake looking to be taking the challenge here as well as Barker thinking about a rise here for the mid lane. There's going to be a lot of tiers going on in that mid.
Yeah, there certainly is. Probably double tier coming through. Of course, Assassin likes to tier into the Rylai's build for his Karthus. You see that Ryze is the choice here. A very heavy farm lane coming out in the mid lane. But Barker, he's going to be completely fine late game. Will get incredibly tanky, and that's a really huge lineup coming through from Snake. Once again, they excel in the late game. You thought, if anything, King would try to go a little bit earlier.
Yeah, well, it's not happening here, and Snake looking like they're all on comfort picks. Barker pulling out the Rise, and we'll see whether that's going to bring us back memories of Dade on that champion and things like that, because, of course, Rise has seen a whole lot of resurgence now under the Rift.
Yeah, he certainly has. Rise has got a pretty good laning phase against these farm laners, can kind of try and zone them off, but we'll go through the lineup. Scion versus Maokai, that's going to be a huge farm lane.
Yeah, just not really too much going on there, a bit of a wet noodle fight, but MLXG will see whether he can get things happening early on in this one on that Rek'Sai.
That's the lane he's going to camp as well. Try and get the mobility summoners out of Rise early, get Assassin ahead. It's going to be the Vayne as well as the Nautilus coming through against the Callista and Thresh. We've seen Callista Thresh lanes do amazing things in the LPL. M3 used to play it to pretty good effect.
Yeah, M3 have probably been the most impressive that I've seen thus far on the Kalista Thresh lane. Candy and Love City really doing fantastic things, but Crystal and Ella, they've been playing it recently as well to equally fantastic effect. We'll see whether they manage to do it this game, but Vayne tends to have an okay time against Kalista. Do you think we're not going to see the same lane swap sort of style?
Yeah, we might see a 2v2 coming through here, especially if MLXG wants to gank early.
Well, we'll see if he does as we hop onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. King taking on Snake for Game 2 of this playoff series. Snake already up this one game. Looking to see if they can make it 2, while King looking to bounce back after a interesting performance, sort of not playing to their usual selves. As Barker might be able to discover Whoosh here just a little bit, able to tumble around, but Lame's going to be the option here as everyone flashing over. Crystal wants to try and get a few more bolts in, pick it up for the Ren. That's the double on Burrow. Look at the decimating smash as Beast does pop the potion, but there's the last auto attack, and first blood goes to Karthus. A double kill make it, and King definitely here to play this game.
Yeah, they certainly are. You never want to fight level 1 against Karthus. His consistent damage with those Skittles is so good.
That decimating smash was amazing.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that there is a Scion. I was getting there, Atlas. I was getting there.
Got excited.
As well as the Unburrow that can come through for that insta-CC. So they will force Lamb to go back late. Bucker with a nice re-show there on top of a ward. We'll be able to cancel that back. But all in all, 2 kills over the late game Karthus. He's already got a tier.
Yeah, that is a tier at 1 minute and a half. Before the minions meet.
1 minute and a half. That's a different way to
that's
measure
how.
time.
That's about how I always say it. If you remember the last time you made fun of me for saying something very similar. Minute and a half is going to be when that tier comes through. I'm committed to it. As the lane swap actually going to be met here as Whoosh heads towards the top side. The free's going to be begun by Crystal as Beast going to be soloing out this one. Sky, of course, just generally, he's going to die. Dies to the Krugs this time, mixing it up. Takes down both of them for level 2.
Punches him good, Atlas.
Yeah, punches them real good. Zrai's going to throw some Qs around as well, as Assassin doesn't quite find that creep, but is going to be able to stack this tier very, very quickly.
And unfortunately, this gets rid of a lot of Ryze's zoning pressure. Normally, you would see Ryze with some extra movement speed generally from Masteries because he goes deep into the utility, as well as some in his runes, be able to dance in front of the Skittles and try and zone Karthus off some early creeps, but that's not going to be the case. Tier already picked up. Just going to be able to throw out those lay waste with pretty reckless abandon.
Yeah, he's going to be able to do whatever the heck he wants. But of course, Tier doesn't give you too many sort of combat abilities. Is that going to help Barker? Or
Not really.
Does it just mean that...
It just means he can Skittle him all day.
Yeah, well, he is doing that. You can see already.
He doesn't even care if he misses at this point.
No. See, it's not doing too much for his mana pool. Man, it's doing a lot of damage on a single target as Assassin hits level 3 as well. And the level advantage is another thing that's very important to mention. We'll see whether Barker can navigate this lane now that Assassin has had such a boost. He's able to dodge away a lot of these and manages to pick up the cannon creep. That's definitely important. MLXG does tunnel over the Baron wall, looking to get something started in this early stage. Very, very normal here for MLXG, just generally. We'll see whether Ella does have the Dark Passage here for Crystals. They're closing in on him. Nice play back, but Crystal's in so much trouble. He is dead. Whooshin picking up another kill here for King. Everything going right for these players.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we complimented Ella for his skill shots last game. This time, it's Liam who's able to thread that death sentence. The hook through everything and able to pick up Crystal with it. So that's very good news. Now a 2,000 gold lead already coming through for King.
Yeah, and Crystal only able to pick up that dagger as well, as Flandre going to get hit by that Roar of the Slayer. And this lane, not too much going to be going on down here, but you can see already in this top side of the map, Beast has to come in and help as the lane swap to come down. Crystal heading into the bottom lane.
Yeah, so Crystal wants to get away from there, want to get back into a 2v1 situation. Flandre, he's doing fine farming, but the one thing I worry about, Scion's actually kind of good in 2v1s now because he maxes that Q and he can just get fully charged on there. As soon as Crystal wants to get aggressive, he's in the decimating smash range regardless. Might just be able to get some additional harass down and farm without any warrior, really.
Yeah, and speaking of farming without worry, Barker able to really stay up in this lane. You can see cancelling some auto attacks to make sure he gets the last hits. Difficult on Rise, of course, because you want to be stacking mana. There's no AD. He's going to never have any help with those auto attacks, even on turrets. A little bit sad.
And Whoosh and Lamb, they're going to swap back into Crystal's lane, so really persisting with this 2v2. I think it's because they believe that their jungler has better gank pressure at the moment. Definitely agree that MLXG can show around the map a lot more easily than Beast. And they're, in general, a little bit better without items. It's not very often you say that about a Vayne lane, but Nautilus just adds so much.
Yep.
We'll see how it works out as MLXG. He's going back to base. Beast, he's mid lane, trying to help Barker push out. That's just there for a counter gank. He's not going to show whatsoever. No dive going to come through. They're just trying to get Barker to go back. He wants to pick up his tier, probably even a minute late on that one.
Yeah, he's going to throw out the spell flux there as well. Not doing a whole lot of damage here to Assassin, who's just eating potions and able to use that Defile to clear out some minions as well, as Barker navigating this lane quite well. Now starting to fall behind, but it's a big stack of minions, and we'll see whether Barker can pull this one back as this game unfolds, because this is a stage where King do excel. This is where they've managed to create leads, and we'll see whether now they'll be able to continue to create the lead and make it happen in the late game as well. Close out the victory.
Yeah, exactly right. We need to see whether that can come through, because King really, as we said, they've been actually pretty good throughout the entirety of the season in the early game. They're looking to be aggressive this time around, but last game they weren't pulling the trigger on things like that level 1 team fight that they went for in the Dragon, and that's what you felt hurt them. If you're not playing confidently, you're not going to win many team fights.
Yeah, it's often like if you don't think you're going to win, it's not often that you're actually going to win.
You miss 100% of shots that you don't take.
Exactly right, Spawn. That was beautiful. So we'll see whether they can take some shots. Well, that sounded a little bit uncomfortable. We're not going to recommend that, ladies and gentlemen. But Crystal and Ella still down here in this bottom side, managing to pierce Whoosh there with a Q.
Wave's still pushing in, though. So MLXG, he has a lot of lanes that he can choose to, I guess, gank at the moment. The overextending, the fact that Barker, he hasn't been able to go back. Wow, if he lands one more Skittle, he was in ultimate range, but not able to get it done.
Not quite, as the CS advantage now starting to build up here for Assassin. Hasn't been back, of course, as Beast is going to take over that lane. Tier is going to be completed by Barker now. Nice Dark Passage going to get Crystal to safety.
And a little bit more standard here now coming through from King, but you got to say, this suits them. They're 3,000 gold in the lead. Snake are probably the ones that need to look to see where they're stronger as a good hook comes through.
Yep, nice pierce to come down as well, as Titan's Wrath going to keep Lamb relatively healthy with the shield, but Whoosh and Lamb trying. Oh my goodness, the dredge line onto Crystal, who just hops back onto the Dark Passage. Not going to be too bad there, as Sky going aggressive onto Flandre. Just gets Arcane smashed out of that Decimating Smash. Nice little interaction of those two abilities. Going to help him out there, as 20 CS is the lead here in the mid lane, as Barker going to steal away that blue buff with a Q. Allow him to build up some more farmers. Man, that is a book and a stick to be picked up by Assassin, as Flandre and Sky going at it once more.
That's twice Sky hasn't been able to pop his Q instead. His shield W being instead popped by Flandre there, which is hurting him a little bit, because those trades should be going a little bit better. But he's still getting the good end of those. Of course, Maokai a little bit less mana intensive, as they're going to start off with the first dragon.
Yeah, first dragon is now being attempted. Of course, Lamb going to be helping MLXG out there. But Rek'Sai more than happy. She's pretty good at taking early dragons, as Whoosh now going to hop over and just give him a hand. You can see that's a Cinderhulk already completed.
Yeah, certainly is the 3 assists coming through, really helping out Rek'Sai's early game. And King, they're in a great position now. They've done exactly what we asked them to do. Play proactive League of Legends. Play a little bit more for the early game. Try and get standard lanes and get MLXG in there. They were very aggressive level 1. They've now picked up a pre-10-minute dragon. They're actively seeking out standard lanes. You feel this is exactly what they were trying to... Wow.
Oh, another dredge line lands here from Lamb, but Crystal able to take another Dark Passage to safety as he now tries to turn around the aggression, but now level 6 has been hit. Depth charge available as well, and Lamb, he doesn't need to be able to hit these skill shots anymore.
Yeah, certainly doesn't. Just can hit the ultimate. It means that Crystal has to get the heck out of dodge. As Flandre went back, was able to pick up the makings of his Catalyst, not able to complete the full item yet. Barmy Cinder picked up in the top lane now for Sky. He's looking for maybe the early Sunfire Cape will probably just sit on that one, to be honest, and use it to actively push out the lane. But across the map, every single lane winning, including the jungle now for King.
Yeah, everything going exactly in King's way at this stage. 3,000 gold, the lead at 10 minutes is nothing to scoff at here because it's very early on in this one, and it must be playing on Snake's mind at the same time. It's a CS advantage for Whoosh on the Vayne into Kalista here at the same time. Really, really great stuff coming out, and his Vayne has looked very impressive.
Yeah, it certainly has. He's been able to get himself in good positions as well. Wasn't able to really do much last game, but it wasn't his fault, to be honest. It was more around the way Sky and Assassin were playing. So he's looking much better this time around, and we'll see exactly how this works out for them. As Vayne pushing out the lane will go back and get a shot. Must have most of the Blade of the Ruined King finished. 2,100 gold, Atlas. You're the AD carry.
No, not quite there yet, I don't think. 2,100 gold. And he's spent... Oh, he'd be close. He'd be very close. He's got it.
Disappointed. Not mad, just disappointed.
Oh. Dad, why? Skittles still coming through here for Assassin, able to continue this CS advantage.
3 people converging on the mid lane there. They're looking for anything. Rylai's Crystal Scepter is finished up as well as soon as Assassin wants to go back. He's sitting on 1,500 gold. Actually, no, he needs 300 more, I think.
It's very, very close, though.
And wow, across the board, Snake look like they're the ones now on the back foot. They don't want to force anything, really can't take the mid-game team fights. Maokai eventually is going to scale up nice and hard, but if any pure tank outscales Maokai, it's been Sion. Of course, with that health that he's able to get, just prioritizes pure resistances and is able to get a lot of work done. Not to mention the fact that his ult really is frustrating to have to deal with late game. So we see Baka now. He's getting zoned away from some creep waves, looking for a face check. He goes in.
Yeah, he's looking for it. Rune Prison is going to be available here under MLXJ's Wall of the Pain is going to be used. Beast.
I think Baka thinks he does more damage than he does to MLXG.
He's seeing it demonstrated for him right there. As MLXG actually going to be able to steal this one away. Skittles coming through onto Beast as well as there's the teleport down. Explosive cast going to be used just to try and single out MLXG, who's taking a lot of damage. The last Q not going to be enough as Sky doesn't quite get the knock up. Both times, actually, as Flandre just going to take MLXG on the backside.
Yeah, on the backside, they go a little bit too deep for that one. Weren't willing to peel back, and Assassin, he now has to teleport away. Didn't note that summoner spell in the early game, but he has picked that one up.
That's pretty standard here for Assassin. Often is going to be doing that one, but did he really need to teleport just there? They had a lot of vision around the area, and he wasn't really getting closed in on anyone but Beast, who has no mana or health.
Yeah, probably didn't have to do that. Meanwhile, though, Ella was forced back, and they've been able to completely zone off this bottom lane. Now holding the wave at the turret. Whoosh might even be able to take this one down if he wants to. Doesn't look like he does. And this is what we said about Vayne. If she can get in a position where she's got the Blade of the Ruined King, she's very happy in these lanes.
Yeah, and Crystal did manage to go back and buy the Berserker's Greaves, but it's not going to be anything in comparison to that Blade of the Ruined King, exactly like you said. And Crystal now with the BF sword able to easily farm out underneath these turrets, but some small consolation as King are actually setting up some sort of gank brush here on the bottom side. MLXG is going to be here. Oh my goodness, this is going to be very scary. Descent's actually landing on a Layam, though. They're turning it around. The Titan's Wrath immediately blocked as the flash comes through. There's a teleport from Flandre.
Wow, stop the face call.
Oh my goodness. There's Layam coming through now as well as Requiem comes down. Ella's going to die as Wushin now going aggressive. Silverbolt's looking to be procced here as Crystal trying to dance out of the way. Oh my goodness, that Prey Seeker was insane as Beast now coming through into this one. King, that's a triple kill for MLXG as Beast now going to get knocked up, but Assassin finds his way into this one as Layam, he's going to survive as well. Levels up and a quadra kill for MLXG.
Yeah, MLXG going nuts in this game. Much better play coming through from the jungler for King. Meanwhile, Sion able to take down top turret as well as Flandre had teleported in there. He picked himself up a kill. But in the end, that's a lot of resources to give away.
Yeah, and this is a shutout this game. It's about 6,000 gold now, the lead for King at 14.5 minutes. That's insane.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the Rylai's has been finished up for Assassin. I honestly think it is one of the most valuable Karthus items in the game at the moment. It sets up the Skittles once the Wall of Pain comes down, continues to slow. But the other reason it's so good is because you're very AoE focused, and in team fights, you become a much better peeler. As soon as you turn on that Defile, running through Karthus not only is extremely painful, is like a kind of mini Nunu CC.
Yeah, well, precisely. 15% slow across anyone who decides to walk through it. It's pretty good. Yeah,
of course. You add in the mobility that's going to come through from Whoosh, as he's now finished up his Berserker Greaves. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to get on top of the Vayne.
Yeah, MLXG now looking for something here as he doesn't quite land the knock-up as Ella gets fake called back and King not able to find anything, but they will take down the turret.
Yeah, they'll take down the turret. They'll probably maybe even rotate in for a Dragon. That was a lot of uncertainty from me then. Probably, maybe, kind of could.
Probably, maybe, might go to the Dragon, possibly. Which they are.
They will.
Nailed it. Prey Seeker is going to find some prey. The Dragon going to be started here from King, and Assassin going to throw some Skittles at it as well. This Dragon is going down incredibly fast. We've spoken about the neutral objective control of a Karthus. But, you know, Vayne's no slouch either. Is Flandre and Sky going to be battling each other? Or I think so. Flandre might be just tickling Sky here. As Beast does come around underneath the turret. The ultimate is popped as the explosive cast comes out as well. They don't have a whole lot of damage, but there's no mana here on Sky. Does use the flash as the sapling comes down as well. Beast able to tank up the turret for a little bit, but they do get the teleport out of Assassin.
Yeah, they get the teleport out of Assassin. Don't really get much else from there. There's a lot of members rotating into that lane. Assassin's going to be completely fine. Who's going to catch out who here, Atlas? Because if they go in, there's a lot of King members available.
Yeah, there is also a Callista around here as well. There's quite a few members. Lamb's caught out of position here as well as Crystal picks up the kill. That is definitely good news, getting this Callista a few extra items, who doesn't even have the Bloodthirster just yet completed. Snake now looking to try and take down this mid lane out of turret, but Thresh and Rise not exactly turret-taking monsters, and the Skittle's going to be dodged here by this Thresh at the same time.
Yeah, so a little bit of a mechanical error coming through from Assassin there. Not able to land any Skittles. You felt that one of them was going to hit, but wasn't to be.
Not happening this time. And now it's going to be King moving in for some pressure here on this turret. Wall of Pain to try and deter Barker from coming through, but he's going to take a whole lot of Skittles for that, and Whoosh coming through as well.
So the Layway's doing a lot of work there, now forcing Barker back to base. He hasn't got his Ghost available either. Assassin, he's trying to counter jungle a little bit. Flandre has something to say about that, able to pick it up himself.
Not too bad. Wall of Pain going to deter him from doing anything, as Lamb going to go very aggressive just so that they can secure this outer turret. And that one is going to go down. That is every outer turret now taken from the map here for King. 7,000 gold the lead as Twisted Advance from Flandre, going to get him out of some damage.
Very cute from Sky, just blocking off that whole entrance with his Q. Not letting Flandre get through, trying to kill a couple more minions to turrets. And this time, you look at the CS advantages, they're all in King's favor. You have 20 in the top lane, 30 in the mid lane, 20 in the bottom lane. Even 20 in the jungle. MLXG doing a lot more work than Beast this time around. And where was this King? Where was the early game aggressive, solid map movements coming through?
And you have to say it has something to do with Assassin being on this champion that can make movements around the map as well.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And, well, not even necessarily need to make movements. He just presses R and he's sort of there.
Yeah, so always that fifth man that can come through whenever he has to. Able to get in there. Also has much better wave clear. You feel that they're able to match the wave clear this time around, whereas last time, the Vladimir, he was just eating through all of the minions whenever they were pushed in.
Yeah. And that wasn't banned away. I mean, he could have picked that up again. Is that a bad matchup into Karthus?
Karthus just tends to outscale most mid laners. Rise and Vlad, they kind of scale equally. It depends what you want. Vlad's kind of the AoE version of Rise, and Rise very good at taking off one member. Extremely good duelist for a mage. Whereas Karthus, he's kind of the guy that, with correct positioning, does max damage in a team fight. If a Karthus is in the middle of 5 people, able to get his Zhonyas through, able to die, able to use his shield, all the things that he should be able to do in this game, Assassin, he's in a great position to make amazing things happen for his team.
Yeah, and Sky takes no damage from Flandre at all.
But he does some damage, especially with the shield coming through. That will do some work. And Whoosh actually going to be able to pick up a blue buff for himself.
Yeah, steals that one away. So Barker probably would have wanted that, as MLXG able to smite away the Gromp as well. Doesn't get hit by the death sentence. They have lit up this bottom side of the map like a Christmas tree. They have got a strangled style here as Flandre tanking up Sky here just a little bit, but may have some friends coming through. The ultimate not going to be found as Decimating Smash is going to charge onto Barker, but Sky is not going to be able to go anywhere. There's the Rune Prison as well. Immediately breaks the shield, and Flandre picks up the kill.
Who's he going to chase? Not able to get anyone.
Yep, Beast's going to try and back and then deal with the...
But you saw how long it took to kill him, Atlas. Now they've got 3 members in this bottom lane, completely zone Snake away from the turret. Might even be able to pick up an objective for the gank. And that's still in King's favor. They take down a Scion. So what?
Yeah, and they may have taken down Assassin as well. Forced to use that flash. There's the... Oh my goodness, that was a Q. That wasn't a Rune Prison. Barker. Not coming through this time. They do get the flash out of the Karthus though, but they trade that for the inner turret in the bottom lane, and Snake really need to start taking some of these structures, but they just can't get out of their base. They can't get out of their safety zone.
Well, the problem is because all 3 waves are being pushed simultaneously, even if you kill someone, it takes so long to be able to get the minion wave in a position to take down a turret. Yeah. Meanwhile, all the other minion waves are prepped for King to make a rotation into a free lane and take that one down. So if they're killing one of the solo lanes, that's the that's the Karthus, that's the Scion. It's not going to ever go in their favor. They need to probably focus 5 members onto the 3 people, because Assassin as well as Sky aren't going to be able to really push the turrets as quickly. Can, of course, get there with the teleport, though, which is, I guess, the whole idea behind the composition.
Well, we'll see whether that is what works out, as Sky has completed the Banshee's Veil as well, has the Distortion enchantment on his boots, so he's going to be able to teleport around this map quite quickly, as Sentinel going to be parading around this top side of the map, and Crystal going to head back to base. Doesn't quite have the 2 items that's going to make him comfortable here, clearing out waves and also doing AoE damage in the team fight. Of course, the Hurricane being looked for. MLXG going to find Beast, though, who is forced to flash over the wall, and the battle for the Gromp coming down as Whoosh is able to lock that one down. Oh, no. It's when Snake starts losing Gromps, that's when they start really getting upset.
This time around it is. Last time they didn't really care when it was Nidalee taking him. There's about 10,000 gold in the lead at that point. But this time, 3rd Dragon now going across to King as well. 22 minutes, that's a very good click. That means by about the 35-minute mark, that 5th Dragon going to be contestable for King.
Well, is it going to be contestable? Because at the moment, 8,000 gold advantage, 3 dragons to none, 4 turrets to none. This could almost be the perfect game coming through for King, despite the couple of deaths that they have.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case, and, you know, you're exactly right. If this game keeps trending towards that, 12 minutes isn't long enough for Snake to scale up and get a team fight. If this game goes towards the 40-minute mark, it certainly is possible because of how well Kalista and Rise are able to get into that late game, as Beast finally picks up a jungle camp for himself.
Yeah. Hasn't been able to find too much, and King doing a much better job this game of denying resources of their opponents. This is often what we've criticized them for, is they get to stages like this, but they let their opponents make plays around the map and pick things up that they shouldn't be able to get.
Don't talk too soon. It's only 23 minutes. This is the early mid-game. If they have shown anything, it's really breaking the base that King struggle with, and we'll see.
They haven't done that yet.
There's not much wave clear coming through from Snake, so King might be in a better position than they would have otherwise been at this point in the game, and they also scale extremely well. So they have the tools. It's just all about whether they can execute. And from 8,000 gold in the lead, you would think they would be able to, but never won.
Never say never.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, got it. Barker is able to clear out this minion wave here under the inner turret. They've lost 1 inner. Flandre still trying to be a nuisance here on the bottom side. 3-1 and 0. Actually doing quite well on this Maokai, despite not being able to do anything to Sky at all. MLXG hanging around this bottom side as well, as everyone just trying to clear out some waves as far as Snake is concerned. And is going to be King setting up vision everywhere they can. We'll see whether they go for any cheeky Barons.
This is what we're used to seeing now, Atlas. Once again, oh, that's a much better play.
That depth charge coming through here as well, but there's the teleport from Sky. The box comes down. Flandre coming in here as well. Wushin actually going to get twisted advanced on us. There's the explosive cast. MLXG super tanky at this stage as Flandre trying to escape, but the Silver Bolts from Whoosh is going to secure that kill. Meanwhile, on the backside, it is going to be the Karthus falling down. Requiem not going to quite do too much. That is a 1-for-1 in the end. Definitely Snake not going to be too upset about that.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade comes through, and this is what we were talking about from King. They make decisive movements. That's good, but it wasn't really in a fantastic part of the map. They need to force around an open objective. At this point, with how fed Karthus is, with how fed Vayne is, not to mention the fact that Rek'Sai is incredibly tanky, just go to the Baron.
Yeah. Go and take it, but does have vision on it now. Snake managing to get something down there. Is Barker actually going to ult into this fight as well? Sky is going to have to be the focus as the... Ooh, blue buff does go over to Barker, so he locks one down finally.
So caught out, burn another summoner spell. King really, once again, not quite so sure about their movements in the map. Probably just going to wait for the next dragon to come up. When it goes to 4 dragons, then they have that automatic you have to come out and fight us card that they can play, which is extremely frustrating for Snake because they know if this game continues to go on, they're on a reasonably good pace. But wow, it's 9,000 gold the lead, and King still don't want to really force too much.
Yeah, and it's been 9,000 gold for the last 5 minutes as well. So Snake have at least managed to stabilize this gold. But I mean, that is sort of not exactly the best praise, as the minion waves are pushing now in favor of Snake. They're able to get some vision down here in the Baron pit as well, and King now probably going to come through and try and clear some of that out.
Yeah, they should just clear out all vision around the Baron, continue to bait it. If they have an opportunity to be able to pick it up, they do. Otherwise, the bottom minion wave, which is now being shoved by Karthus, who has his teleport still available, is going to crash into a turret. Not to mention the fact that Dragon's up in a minute 50, so they can probably secure that one for themselves. But instead, they're looking for these kind of weird siege/pick situations that they just don't have the correct denial of vision in the lanes to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's not really working. It's like they have the right idea, but it's not quite able to make it work. And Beast able to lock down yet another Raptor.
Yeah, so Beast, he's been able to smite a couple of those away. He's getting fairly tanky, nearly picked up a Spirit Visage for himself. Going to help him against the Karthus.
And King probably just more than happy to let this game play out. They know that they have an advantage. Maybe they're just happy to turtle it up. And I don't know. I don't know. I never understand King.
Yeah, so pretty much what they need to do, they need to go back, they need to get their pink ward. So they've got 2 around the Baron area. That means there's another 3 to be had. They need to throw 1 in the back of the pit to be able to clear out all that vision. 1 in the side brush, and then all they do is repeatedly bait Baron. They've got the best Baron damage that you can probably have in the game, unless you swap like a Cassiopeia into the top lane, but that's what the tank is for. Sion just going to be able to sit there and tank it up forever and continually force them to come to you. Dragon, this is a great objective because of what we talked about with the 5th Dragon, but once again, they don't have the correct vision around it. There's no pink wards. They're having to repetitively use sweepers. Karthus hasn't even swapped over to a sweeper. He's continued to go with a couple of those wards in the improved warding totem instead, and you just don't feel... Their recall timings even are off.
It's very, very strange. 10 seconds on the Dragon. Sky does not have teleport just yet, but it is going to be up in a few seconds. Sentinel going to spot him out as Void Rush is going to get MLXG towards that Dragon. I mean, MLXG is huge. He's got a Warmogs and a Randuin's. He's got so
Their whole
much
team is
help.
huge.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're 11,000 gold in front.
Yeah. So they are going to be able to go over to this Dragon, pick up their 4th for free. Good. Let's see what they do with it at this stage. Snake not really minding about it. They've got some vision in their own jungle, got some vision on the Baron pit as well.
Well, 4th Dragon isn't the objective right now. You're not going to lose a game off 4th Dragon. You'll lose a game off Baron. So exactly what Snake has done is correct. They've secured vision of their own jungle on the top side so they don't get caught out if they walk towards the Baron area. There's no bait to be had there. And then they've got 2 wards on the Baron itself to make sure that if it started up, they have perfect understanding of when that happens. King really are missing a trick here by not clearing out vision adequately to be able to secure that objective.
Yeah, and they've got sort of vision now surrounding the Baron. It looks like they are setting it up. MLXG able to get a ward into the pit there. You can see, oh, cheeky ward. just at the front door to the Baron pit as well.
That's a really standard ward now, though, Atlas. They should be able to sweep that one out. We've seen it used time and time again for exactly that reason. It's not being spotted by any of those other wards in there. As MLXG, he goes aggressive again. But once again, Snake have got their path to Baron warded up. They're using the sight zone incredibly well. Actually, yeah, they have a Ruby sight stone for exactly that point on Ela.
And Barker has actually also picked up the warding totem upgrade as well, so he's going to have a few extra charges of his wards that he can put down. King, 3 pinks around the Baron, still unable to effectively bait anything. And you can see that Snake, they're just happy to wait until items are irrelevant and that gold lead goes away.
Yeah, exactly right. This is playing into Snake's hand.
Oh, they're looking to go for something here. There's the flash explosive cast looking for Lamb. They don't get it. Rune Prison onto MLXG doesn't take very much damage at all. Of course, has a lot of health stacked up, but not too much health. Barker going very aggressive. You can see this rise with the Seraph's Embrace plus the fully stacked Rod of Ages. Doesn't need much help doing damage. As King, they're just disengaging. They're not going for anything, even when Snake try to engage on them.
Yeah, exactly right. But now that might be the go button because they got the ultimate out of Beast. They've started up. It's still in vision. Teleport comes through. They're going to have to pull off.
Yeah, well, teleport coming through from both sides as well. Wall of Pain coming down as MLXG looking to start a fight here. Does flash in. There's, in fact, the ultimate coming through. Ela tries to come out of that one. MLXG gets pulled out of the fight as Flandre. He's going down low as Beast is the focus here. Whoosh picks up that kill. Crystal into the backside. Does have some Rens, but that's not going to be enough as Rise picks up the kill into Assassin yet again. Barker so incredibly low, and it's the double kill for Assassin. A couple put for the Vayne as well, and Barker, the only man standing. King, they finally win the fight that gets them the Baron.
Yeah, so all they did was go into Baron, start it up. We said this guy, he's not going to lose that much health. MLXG, the exact same situation. You turn around, you pull the trigger, and all of a sudden you win a team fight. Maybe a couple of minutes later than we would have liked it, but they finally pull the trigger.
Yeah, they did it. 14,000 gold is now the lead. Now, King, if you could just go and take some turrets. Or are we not going to get there yet?
No, we're definitely there. They can siege up as much as they want now. They've got the Baroned up minions. That will waste the next 3 minutes of the match. Then they'll go take the 5th dragon, start a final team fight where their Scion is just that huge that he can dive any turret he wants currently. And this game, it's going to probably tie the series up at 1-1.
Well, all things considered, definitely looking great here for King. Assassin has been dying each time in these fights. Not exactly the right positions, but that Requiem really starting to do some massive damage when that Death Defy comes through. 4-2 and 6 now has the Rabadon's Death Cap. That's a 4-item Karthus, nothing to scoff at all. Was Barker probably going to be going towards something like...
they're looking for a pick.
Oh, actually, they do find it. MLXG is here. That's a 3-man knockup. Really nicely done. Ela, uncharacteristic miss of the Death Sentence as he throws out the Lantern. Depth charge is going to land, and Beast, he's caught out of position. Sky going to pick up that kill. Flandre now finds himself in no man's land. That's a nice arcane smash into the flash there as well as Barker now comes into through the backside. Oh my goodness, not really working. Fate's Call going to get Ela out, but Crystal might be the focus at this stage, sort of jumping around. There's the Dark Passage. Wushin coming through. They don't have a turret there, but Whoosh does get Death Sentence yet again. Oh my goodness, the Rend. It's the Arcane Smash that's going to be enough as Flandre tries to dodge out of the way of the Skittles. The passive doing some work, but Defile pretty difficult to deal with, and that in the end is the ace.
Yeah, the ace, but they take out the Vayne, who's the only AD dealer, so they're probably not going to be able to get that much for it. They'll go into the mid lane, try and push in on the base. Beast is already back available. Buck is only 9 seconds away. They'll probably only get 1 turret.
And that's an inner turret as well. That's not going to be breaking the base here. You can see King still below half health on all their members. Managing to get that pick on Wushin was huge.
Yeah, it certainly was. So taking Wushin off the map, once again, another great Death Sentence coming through from Ela. Just delays this game a little bit more. And King, they're 90% going to win this game. Probably even higher. It's probably 99%. But the frustration will probably be creeping back in because they've played it so well in the early game. And it hasn't been able to go exactly as planned late.
And this may not actually be affecting Snake all that much. Of course, after that level 1, which went horrendously for them, going up against a Karthus who has a tier when he enters lane is not something you really want to deal with. So Snake probably feeling like, okay, from the get-go, King's game to lose.
Yeah, it definitely was King's game to lose. I still think getting hit back at 1-1 puts it in a best-of-3 scenario. You never want to have that happen, especially when you were so confident in your play game one. So Snake have definitely missed a trick by invading in on a Karthus. Yep. It was a pretty silly move. So we'll have to see exactly how this one works out. Kings, 5 seconds until their 5th dragon is up. Snake still haven't been able to grab any. 18,000 gold is the advantage currently, and they've got a pick.
Yeah, Beast has actually been caught out here as well. There's a depth charge coming through. Everyone just bouncing around. Beast somehow still alive. It's Crystal. He gets exploded in that fight. There's a nice knock-up, but the King members, they'd already done what they wanted to do. Barker now forced to flash out of the way. There's Flandre's here as well. That wall of pain beautifully placed, forcing Flandre to re-engage this fight. Barker doing a lot of AoE, picks up MLXG, but Liam locks him down, and Snake, they're all going to die, and that's the surrender vote. Snake, they tap the mat on game 2, and that was actually more of a gold lead in favor of King that time around than Snake's first victory.
Yeah, it certainly was. So a much better game coming through. Whoosh had a great game. Assassin with that early double kill able to explode. Yeah. And the complete opposite happens this time around. Top lane, 80 CS up. Mid lane, 80 CS up. Across the map, King really winning that one. And you have to think, if they're able to get these leads, the whole season we've said it, they're able to transition it. They might still look a little bit bumpy in their mid game, bumpier than we would like anyway. But they certainly had the tools to be able to get it done.
Yeah, and they got themselves to the positions that they really wanted to start affecting the map, making things happen. But that took a lot longer than it should still. So we'll see whether they can fast forward into the action next time around, because if they get a lead like this, they may not necessarily have the scaling team comp that they had last time. But ladies and gentlemen, it's all tied up here at 1-1. We'll be back. More of this best of 5 between King and Snake coming up right